Today we'll be unboxing the heroic Master of Extension on Rip It Open with Newman. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Newman, and today we'll be unboxing Extendar from Mattel Creations' Masters of the Universe Origins line. Created in 1986 from Mattel's Masters of the Universe line, Extendar was once a heroic knight and friend of Prince Adam. Transformed by the evil Hordak into a cybernetic being, Extendar broke free of his control and now fights alongside He-Man and the other heroic warriors. Today I'm excited to get back to that mythical land of Eternia where technology meets sorcery. Today's toy comes courtesy of Mattel Creations. The toy dropped on their website a little over a week ago, and I was lucky enough to get one, or two, or three. If you visit the link in the description, you'll actually be able to purchase one or both of them from my Mercari store. I'll say the great thing about the later figures in the Origins line, even though they're going through Mattel Creations, you don't have to wait like a year, you know, like with the figures like Wondar or Grizzlor. They're pretty fast. Nothing's made to order, you're essentially just buying from the stockroom. And because these are later figures, you generally don't have to worry about it selling out in 2 minutes. I believe this one was up for most of the day. It eventually sold out later in the evening. I never had Extendar as a kid. I may have moved on to Ninja Turtles at this point, so I didn't have this particular figure. So this is all going to be new for me. I have only ever seen pictures online, so I don't really know what the scaling is going to be like. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy out of the box. And here we go. Alright, so we got that great collector-friendly packaging going on right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front of the package. And look at this. This is a big old chunky figure. I was not expecting that. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the back of the package. There's some really lovely artwork with Hordak and his evil horde. Or leech, anyway. Alright, now that we have this figure essentially unboxed, we are going to go ahead and take a look at it up close and personal. So please bear with me as I change positions. So again, this has the collector-friendly packaging, which is greatly appreciated. So let's go ahead and take this out, get a closer look at the figure. First, let's look at the card back. Again, that's great artwork on both the front and the back. Here we got the mini comic. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front of it. That's some awesome artwork. Sometimes the mini comic artwork is a little hit and miss for me, but this is actually fantastic. On the back is just the Masters of the Universe logo. All right, let's get this out of here. And first up, let's take a look at his shield, since it's kind of like right there. Got this designed, and like the character itself, it extends into a bigger shield. I mean, yeah, that's cool. All right, let's take a look at the figure itself. Looks like a big old Space Knight gorilla. Look at this thing. He's a big old chunky figure. Got abs for days. All right, looks good. Looks really nice. So the one thing that I noticed first up is that the color of the character is a pearlized silver, whereas the original, which you can see in the upper right hand corner, was just a straight up pearl color. I honestly think I like it either way. It's funny, in the new Masters of the Universe Revolution series, Man-at-Arms is wearing a armor that is very reminiscent of the original Extendar. So a morbid part of me just thinks that there was an extended edition of that series where he was killed, and now Man-at-Arms is wearing his body as some sort of Texas Chainsaw ghoulish exoskeleton. But I'm sorry, I'm getting way off topic. So I'm going over the articulation right here. So he's got articulation in his arms and also in his elbows. There's a forearm glove cut, and obviously in the wrist. The wrists go all the way around and they bend back and forth. They're just a little looser than I would like, but no, it's really good. The plastic is a lot different from your typical Masters of the Universe Origins. So we see the waist can extend, obviously. So I'm pretty positive that was in the original toy. And we've got articulation in the knee, sort of. It's there. He's got some really chunky legs, so you're only getting so much movement out of those knees. And obviously there's articulation in the ankles. They only really go up and down. They can't rock very well because of the nature of his shin guards. All right, let's go ahead and get him down. Get his head down. And as you can see on the arms, now I'm almost positive that this was a action feature on the original toy, but because of the articulation with Origins, we get the extension pieces, much like Mechaneck. So right now I'm going to go ahead and de-gorillify him and get those extensions out of the arms out of there and take a look at him not extended. And this is great. This is a great looking figure. For some reason, it feels very Ninja Turtle to me. I think just because his abdomen is just so wide. And his thighs and ankles are about the same size. It's a weird thing for me, but I always associate giant calves with Ninja Turtles. So you can see he stands very well on his own. So we're going to actually do a comparison. Come here. I don't have the original Extendar, so I can't do a comparison with that. But I do have a Cartoon Collection Stratos close by. So as you can see, the heights probably would be relatively the same if this was a regular Origins figure. The Cartoon Collection ones always stand up a little taller. But let's go ahead and get Stratos out of here and get back to Extendar. We're going to go ahead and put the extensions back in on him. Extend his torso, extend his head. And we're going to actually see how he compares fully erected.
That's what she said.
And then do another comparison with good old Stratos. Right? And now these pieces come off relatively simply. It's not too difficult, but also it's not too easy. We're going to go ahead and get the leg extensions from the rest of the packaging. Let's take those out, throw this away, and take a little close look at the extensions here. And now we're going to go ahead and put them on this big old chunky boy. Let's get the legs off, and those come off really well. We're going to get these extensions on. I don't think it matters whether it's left or right. And let's go ahead and do the other one. Get that off. Put this on. And now we're going to put his little feet back on. All right, now he's fully extended. And it just turns him into a completely different figure. So we're going to put that right there. And he stands up very well on his own. So let's go ahead and do another comparison with Stratos. Set him aside. And now we're going to do some cheap social media magic. Boom, there he is. And look at that. Now he just towers over Stratos. It makes it a completely different figure. See, short people, the only reason you're short is because your arms and legs are freakishly small.
Dang.
Don't worry, I'm a short king, so I can say that. You can't say that, tall people. I can say that. But enough comparisons. Let's go ahead and get Stratos out of here. Out of here! Alright, let's get back to Extendar. This is a really good looking figure. The sculpting's nice, there's no paint slop. Everything's looking really good on this thing. Let's see if we can go ahead and get him in a couple of poses. I somehow completely forgot that there's articulation in the knees, so while I was going to try and bend the knees to make a running position, I thought I was going to break it. I don't know. It's been one of those days. But here is a position with his arms up. Look at that. The balance is actually really good on this. It's so tall and lanky, I figured there might be some issues with that, but no, not really. Origins figures are pretty sturdy figures. They're balanced well, they stand well. My table is notoriously bad with balancing figures, and the Origins figures, they always work pretty well. FYI, the elbow joints on mine are super tight. They're really tight. All the articulation points that aren't associated with the extension pieces are really tight, such as the shoulders, elbows, knees. It's really where you get into like the glove cuts and a little bit in the head that they seem a little looser. Let's go ahead and get his shield on him, see how well this fits. And fits like a charm. Very good. And here we go. He's got an extension shield. I'm not a big fan of this shield and accessory. No, it's just sort of weird. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's very, very sci-fi 80s. But I guess that's sort of where the nostalgia factor comes in. Now, this actually comes down. I'm not sure why. But you can completely extend it. I don't think I'll ever have it like this. This just looks weird and awkward. Yeah, look at that. Maybe you could use it as sort of like a base. I don't know. I feel as though maybe this would have been cool if you could put it on its back and fully extend as some sort of like wing so he can like fly. That would have been pretty cool. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards. Now, since the shield is so big and bulky, whoops, took off his arm right there. See, I told you these extensions are they're not super tight, so they can come off relatively easily. Let's see if he can balance well with this big old shield. And takes a little bit of a manipulation, but nope, there he goes. Balances still very well. All right. I'm actually going to take a look at this mini comic. I usually don't in these reviews, but I just want to see if a fully extended shield is supposed to be something else. Didn't find anything in the comic. And, you know, normally the card back would have instructions on the accessories, but, you know, it's the image. So, you know, I don't know. I'm probably just overthinking this. It's just the shield and it extends to the triangle form. I think that's pretty much it. The articulation on the head is really good. It's very smooth movement. It's, if not, just slightly looser than I would like. But all the detailing is really good. I like this back piece. Looks like someone snuck a peace symbol into his neck. And the spinal cord has a design that is vaguely reminiscent of the power sword. I wonder if that was intentional. All in all, I do really like this figure. I do kind of wish that they would have given him the jousting stick that the classics had. I know the original 80s figure didn't have it, but I'm pretty sure that Cyclone didn't have that giant hula hoop of death in the original 80s figure, but they decided to incorporate it in the Origins one from Mattel. I would have paid a couple extra bucks to get that jousting lance, but I'm sure there'll be customizers in full force waiting to recreate it. Okay, final thoughts. I think this is a terrific figure. If you were able to get it at the original price point, I think it's definitely worth the money. If you weren't able to get it, you're probably going to have to pay aftermarket prices. That's unfortunate, but I don't see them being too high. None of the Mattel creations recently, the aftermarket prices have not been that bad. Again, I'll have a couple of figures on my Mercari site, link in the description. But it will be after market prices, but they're not going to be awful. They'll be relatively reasonable as compared to everybody else. I think the articulation on this figure is pretty good. Again, all of the articulation not associated with the action features, such as the shoulders, elbows, and knees, are very tight. Very tight. The ones associated with the action features, such as the glove cut and the boot cut, they're a little looser. Maybe just slightly looser than I would like. Same goes for the waist. It spins maybe a little too loosely for my taste, but it's not bad by any means. The extension for the waist is very good. Extension for the head is good. You're gonna have to apply a little bit of force to get it out initially. At first I thought mine was defective, but I just wasn't pulling hard enough. You gotta be a little bit aggressive with it. I think the accessories they're a little weak. I realize it's the same as the 80s toy, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. The sculpt is good. The paint application is very good. It's a really good looking figure. I gotta be honest, it kind of creeps me out a little bit. I think that face sculpt is very creepy in a good way. It's just, I don't know, I think it's the black eyes and the fact that this thing extends. It borders on like a Slender Man thing for me. So it creeps me out, but in a good way. I do love the fact that this figure is mostly pearlized plastic. It gives it a very unique look as compared to the other Origins figures. Now, if you own the original, you might bump up against the fact that it's not the same color, that this is a silver as opposed to the pure pearl that the original one was. But, you know, it's a knight, so I think it works. You may not think it works, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree. Mattel, you did alright. You get a gold star. If you keep it up, you might actually make it out in this business. Alright folks, so that's gonna pretty much wrap it up. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, ring the bell for notifications, and I will check you later.